Dead villagers near a castle? Doubt confirmed. Gold in the shape of an H? Hera confirmed. Placing drop sites around resources as efficiently as possible is a cute little minigame in AoE 2, so let's take a look at how the Definitive Edition maps spawn the main gold. There are 5 configurations: modulo, reflectional, and rotational symmetry. The H, the bowtie, the Utah, the stamp, and I don't know, I don't have a name for this one. It looks like a little animal with some hind legs, maybe? Come up with a name for it in the comments. Anyway, you might notice this is very limited, and the original game had far more variety in its gold spawns. So how is this gold now placed, and why is it different? Let's make an example map script. We'll create a land right at the middle, positioned at 50% of the X and Y coordinates, and we'll add a gold mine on this land, keeping it positioned directly at the center. The main gold consists of 7 tiles that are grouped together. There are 2 ways to group objects. Loose grouping allows for space between objects and is used for sheep and deer. Tight grouping keeps objects directly touching along their edges and is used for berries, golds, and stones. The final attribute we need is the group placement radius. When used with tight grouping, the first tile of the mine is placed directly at the center. The remaining tiles grow off of the existing mine. The placement radius defines a boundary square. The default value is 3, which was used in the original game. We can try out this value and see significantly more shapes of the gold mines. Button DE, the radius commonly used is 1. This value confines the gold to being in a 3x3 square, with 1 tile guaranteed to be at the middle. The rest of the square is filled up with the remaining 6 tiles, yielding the 5 configurations we saw at the start. But why change the placement radius in the first place? Old maps tended to be pretty wild, with resources blocked or directly adjacent to wood lines. Thus, many of DE's maps try different techniques to make the generations more consistent. For example, the command avoid forest zone keeps objects away from forests, which is useful, but it only applies to the center of the group. To use it properly, we need either a big avoid forest zone value, which can restrict the locations where mines are allowed to spawn, or we need to change the group placement radius to ensure it's less than the avoid forest zone value. Various little placement tricks like this one keep objects away from each other based not on the edges of the groups, but on the centers of the groups. Hence, decreasing the placement radius makes it easier to keep objects consistently spaced. Is this a great solution? Probably not, but we're also limited in the map scripting tools we have available. The minigame of finding just the right spot to position a drop site is one of the subtle little quirks that makes AoE 2 fun, and the more variation in resource shapes, the more creativity this requires. Sometimes I'll begrudgingly use a small placement radius when there's naught but a small plot available upon which to spawn a group, but I think it's something to try to avoid. It makes gold shapes far less interesting. Anyway, not every DE map is like this. Some still use the old placement radius value, but the main map of Arabia, where the shape perhaps matters the most, now indeed uses the placement radius of 1. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you like that the ranked queue is much more strict in preventing bugged resources? Or does it take too much creativity away from base layout by restricting the randomness too much? I'll be curious to hear what you think. That's it for now. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.